Hello adventure riders from around the world. As I promised already many times, in my channel you can see so many different things. So today, where I am, you already saw Barkbusters factory here in Australia. And now I'm going inside, and what I'm gonna show you is the real people behind the brand. Let's go in. I was so happy to come and see all of this because as I said many times, it's one story to have someone online, but it's a different to meet the real people behind the story. Okay, I'm so happy to introduce Rob.
Hello.
Very pleased to be here. How are you doing?
Good to see you and glad to have you here.
Absolutely. As I said many times, we all deal online. We know about different people, different stories, but finally when I meet the real people behind the story, it's something completely different and very interesting. Okay.
Yeah, well, we like to stay behind the scenes and make sure we do the best product, but let the product go out to the world and be the real hero.
Yeah, absolutely. I really want to show all of this. So could you please tell us a few words, how you get started, how you get the idea of all of these Barkbusters?
Well, for me personally, it was just a love for motorcycles. Always went through education, went through life, but then just always gravitated towards motorcycles. So I ended up working for Barkbusters eventually. Okay. But for the brand itself, it was in the Australian bush, guys riding in the bush in the 70s, enduro riders, always crashing into the trees, falling on rocks, and somebody asked for some protection for the hands and for the levers on the motorcycle. So the original design came about with some strong aluminium handguard to protect the rider from his hands having an impact and from the controls, so that if you're riding, you can make an accident, you can crash into things, but you can pick the bike up and you can keep going.
Yeah.
And it just kept growing from there, just kept growing. And then one of the riders who began riding with the product was a young enduro rider in Australia, and he's now the owner of the business.
Okay.
So
cool.
He's been using the product from the very first day and still making the product now with passion for the bikes, passion for the handguards, and to make sure all the riders in the world can have safe protection for their hands and their controls while they enjoy motorcycles the way we do.
Absolutely. So is this the first model of the Barkbusters?
This is very much one of the first commercial sets you would have seen made. So this goes back to 1983.
Okay.
And this motorcycle was raced by the current owner of the business for International Enduro.
Okay.
And basically that's where the brand started.
What is this KTM 350?
Yeah, original.
Okay. Cool.
86 model, yeah. So it was the original bike he raced. The bike was sold at the end of the race career, but then he tracked it down and brought it back, had it rebuilt so that now it can sit proudly and as a testimony to where the brand started and you know where the passion began.
And since then, a lot of days and weeks and months and years go past, and now we have all of this huge facility, yeah?
That's right. And then what's happened is, from here, what developed was shields to protect from wind and rain and debris. And then from there, we had demand from riders who wanted that protection on adventure bikes. We had riders who were looking to put that on road bikes. So every time we see a demand or we get a request, we continue to evolve and we continue to develop, but always maintain the integrity and the quality that the brand began with. So you can keep spreading that one little niche of motorcycle handguard, but bringing it to more and more parts of the world and more riders in the world.
That's why you still maintain and organize and build everything here in Australia, yeah? To keep the quality.
Absolutely. I mean, the passion for us is as Australian riders with the traditional Australian riding. So it makes sense that we want to keep the production in Australia. We want to keep the quality of the product with Australian manufacturing. We have our locals working on the product. And just bring that to the world with Australian ingenuity, so we can work with good teams around the world in different countries and make sure the brand stays as strong as it always has been.
Perfect. Let's go and see around how you actually doing all of this magic, eh?
So we might walk straight through to the back where it all begins.
All right.
And we'll work our way back into this final production.
Cool.
So the large area is where we receive a lot of the raw inventory that we work with. So we have a lot of staging here where we export direct to all of our worldwide customers. But the heart of it all begins here with the integral structure of the brand, where the aluminium that we receive from local aluminium suppliers is brought to us to our specification. And then a lot of the clamps and the basic handguard structure is then constructed here. So we have a couple of machines that will produce our handlebar clamps. We go through a process where we prepare them And the raw aluminium pieces, if I come around this way, I'll show you what some of this looks like. So we'll start with what everyone really recognises is the aluminium that goes onto the handlebar. We'll just have a raw piece of aluminium. Now that's brought to us in our specification in a number of lengths. Then we'll put it through a process of drilling and machining so it can be designed to fit a particular bike, everything from a universal fit right through to all your adventure bike fits. So if we see a demand for the new Africa Twin, for example, we'll create a bar that is perfect for the Africa Twin, and then we'll create the fitments to fit the Africa Twin. Same as a Tenere, same as a V-Strom, same as BMW GS. We'll do that for all those bikes.
That's why everyone, when you need to purchase the guards, need to click exactly what kind of motorcycle, brand, model, everything, just to be sure that all will fit perfect. Yeah?
Correct. The best way to go about that is to use our barkbusters.net website. We have a tool that lets you choose what fits your bike, and then we'll present you with all the options that are available, and then you can make your selection. But the hardware components, for example, with a BMW GS, will always be the same hardware, but you can have slightly different finishes with the plastic guard that you can attach. So it's very modular. So the approach is interchangeable, but the hardware stays the same if it's of a specific application.
Yeah. Cool. I can prove this, guys, because I used many different handguards during the years, and I always need to drill something, modify something just to adjust it properly. But with their guards, honestly, absolutely honestly, they went just like boom and all done. And I was so nicely surprised that they just fit without any additional adjustments. This is very important. I'm glad that you work on it.
Yeah. Well, that was the goal. What we want to do is we want to make sure a customer goes home, opens the pack, fits it to the bike, and then just gets riding. I mean, a little bit of time to get it to fit right, but nothing too extenuous. Just get it bolted on, solid, follow the instruction, and then go and enjoy the bike for what it's meant to be doing, riding.
Absolutely. Actually, maybe 3 weeks ago, the side stand I've got on the KLR, it hasn't got a proper angle. It's light just a little. The angle is not good. So I let the bike on the side stand, and it was very strong wind. I will walk around, and then I heard bang behind me. The bike was down. So actually, they saved my liver.
Yeah, I've done that many times.
This was the purpose, yeah? All right.
That's the beauty. I go off-road riding, and then you get into a difficult position, and you have to jump off the bike. You just jump off the bike hits the ground, and you just pick it up again.
You know the feeling when you try to find the ground and you're just not there, yeah?
It happens to me all the time.
It's not good. All right.
So then, a lot of the core components, like I said here, the guard comes out, a little bit of drilled procedure happens, and then our operators will bring it over onto a bending machine, and we'll bend a lot of the specifics. So if you can catch some of the bars you see up on the wall up here, these are the templates for a variety of our different bends in our aluminium guards. So that is where we keep the master batch. So as we're producing a particular batch, the operator makes sure they match the master batch so that when it comes out to the customer, it's the correct fit, the correct bend, the correct angle. We have a couple of ovens against the wall, so once the aluminium's gone through the bending procedure, we heat treat it, and that's what tempers it up to a T6 strength. So that's why when that gets whacked into a tree, falls on the ground, it doesn't move because it's been strengthened up to the highest standard possible for that grade of aluminium.
Okay, cool.
So we'll come through and see how the crew puts all that together for the customers.
Oh man, it's so interesting for me using this and knowing that, as I said so many times, it's like a magic to come here, to see all of this, to be in touch with the real people and to enjoy Australia so much. And it's like almost a month already gone, just like this. The time is just flying. It's miracle, incredible. Yeah.
See, then all those components we've brought in and we've manufactured, the guys will get together. They'll have a sales order for a customer to go to Germany, to go to South America, wherever it may be. And everything's getting put together in the pack, ready to go. So there's the aluminium bones we created out the back. Inside the cavity here we have a few hardware components, and in this example you can see this is the Africa Twin kit. So that's ready for an Africa Twin customer. He opens that pack, it bolts straight to the bike, he has no problem. And it's just constant assembly and production here, 5 days a week,
Cool.
50 weeks a year,
Cool.
and we take 2 weeks off for Christmas.
Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah. All right. All right. So here's where the real magic happens. Yeah.
This is the final bit of the magic here, yeah.
Okay. So it was absolutely pleasure for me to meet you. Thank you very much.
So glad to see you.
I'm sure that this information will be very, very useful for many people because, you know, in those days you go online, you buy something and you're never sure what exactly you're gonna get because people are suspicious. Is there really someone behind it or just a scam or whatever? That's why I was so happy to come here and made all of this to show these real people, to prove that they exist and they work for me and for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pavlin. Nice. All the best.
Thank you. So guys, that's it. I have nothing more to say. Don't forget to subscribe because a lot of interesting videos are about to come. See you next time.